What's up, everybody? Welcome to BioS3 Raw TV. Well, tonight we're going to cover something that I beat into the ground, but it popped up again, right? And I'm sick of it popping up because people don't understand, and they just look at things like it's face value, and there's nothing like it's not three-dimensional. It's just flat. There's no three dimensions to it, right? But everything is three-dimensional. Well, technically, anyways. Training to failure and not training to failure. So they were talking about the study that proved not training to failure got you better muscular gains than training to failure. Right? And I looked at the study, so let me just check this one out because it's not a new one, whatever. And I looked at it, and what I noticed right off the bat, the scientists don't know this. They're not bodybuilders, and they don't really understand the different types of training and why we do it, which I think is why they're doing the study, right? So we already figured out training different ways gets different results for different people. Now they're wondering why, which one is best. So they decided to do the study based on what the bros have already done. So there's already experiments going on, and they decided to do studies with new experiments to find out the data to back up or disprove what's already going on. So it's the first thing I looked at, it was every body part was trained once a week. I said, well, right off the bat, yes, that's going to change the results you get. If you're training to failure, you can actually train more frequently. If you're actually in the gym less time, your body actually recovers faster from training to failure. Now, positive failure, momentary muscular failure in the positive version or positive part of the exercise, not full muscular failure. Now, if you train to full muscular failure, and they didn't state whether it was full muscular failure or positive muscular failure because there's different things, right? So which one are you guys studying? We don't even know because they didn't say. Now, if you went to positive muscular failure, like 8, 9, 10, that's it. Fuck, okay, done. That's positive muscular failure. Now, total muscular failure would be like 8, 9, fuck, your buddy helps you out. All right, now, good. All right, now, lower it. Okay, bring it up. Oh, won't budge. 2 partners, bring it up. Boom. Okay, lower it down. Lower. Okay, push it up. Oh, no. 2 partners, bring it up. Oh, just, as soon as you unlock your elbows, boom, it falls. Okay, that's it. That's negative failure. Now they lift it up. You hold it in lockout position. You bend your elbow slightly. That's a static. All right, there. You're fucking eventually you're holding it, and that motherfucker just gives out. Boom, done. That's complete muscular failure, not just positive muscular failure. Now that is going to take you a lot longer to recover from than you did positive muscular failure. Now, positive muscular failure you recover from the fastest. The not positive or not muscular failure you recover from the second, and the total muscular failure takes you longer to recover than both the other ones. So you have different recovery rates depending on how you're training. And now you're looking at those recovery rates. If you are training to muscular failure, positive muscular failure, right? And you do chest once a week, and you did whatever sets it was that you had to do, because you're not going to do as many sets of failure as you're doing not to failure. So they're doing 25 sets to failure, to not to failure for the volume, right? But you can't do 25 sets to failure. There's no way. You would never get through it. So what they do is they cut that down to, let's say, 5 sets to failure, because that's pretty much all you need. After 5 sets of failure, you're not going anywhere. You're done. Your chest is fried. Well, what happens is that body part recovers so fast from the low volume, but the high intensity, that you're going to have to hit it maximum 72 hours. After 72 hours, you're starting to detrain. Many people don't think that's real. It's a real thing. There's plenty of studies that the Bulgarians, the Russians, and the Soviets did that show different types of training have different recovery rates, which have different detraining rates. So if you're out there doing all this volume and shit, no, you're not going to detrain in a week or 2 weeks. You know why? Because you've pushed your central nervous system to the max over 10 weeks where you feel quote-unquote overtrained. So now you have to take like a quote-unquote deload week or whatever you want to call them, because that has taxed your body in a certain way, where you have these failure trainings where it's not the same. Your body recovers fast. Your central nervous system recovers faster. But if you look over the course of 10 weeks, right, they're doing this study that they were looking at, the people that didn't train to failure got better muscular gains than the people that trained to failure. Why? Because every single week they were actually detraining after training those body parts. So they would come in, train, recover, grow to a certain point, and then start detraining. So it was almost like they were standing still and not moving forward very fast. Why? Because the frequency needed to be changed. And the scientists didn't know that. Because these are not bodybuilders. These are not people that are into bodybuilding. They have no idea how different... Shut this off before it pings all over the place. They have no idea how changing the volume, unless they study sports science, which that's not what was going on here. They just wanted to find out failure, not failure, which one is better and builds muscle. Well, just like everything else, people always want a blueprint. They want something simple, something like, I'll just do this and it works. It's not like that. Everyone and everything is different. Different styles of training have to be, it has to be the frequency, the the duration of the workouts itself or the length of time of whether it's 45 minutes, 2 hours, you're doing 25 sets not to failure. You're looking at like an hour and a half, 2 hours. You're looking at training to failure out of the gym in 45 minutes. Your body goes through a hormonal change very differently in 45 minutes doing that compared to 2 hours of doing the other one. Matter of fact, the anabolic hormones are actually higher when you're training to failure. But it's not going to do you any good if you only train to failure once a week. Like if you're doing, let's just throw this out there. Tom Platz, when they were with Optimum Training Systems, came out with a bench press program, right? And it was like, add like 100 pounds to your bench in a month or whatever the fuck it was, something crazy like that, right? And I said, you know what? It came with this program. I'm going to give it a shot. So I look at the program and you were doing bench press every day, 5 days a week. And I was like, this looks too much. I'm going to get hurt. There's no fucking way. And I'm looking at it. The rep schemes changed. The durations of the workouts changed. The rest periods between each set, certain things changed. It all changed to fit where they were going over that progression over the 4 or 5 weeks. I said, well, I'm just going to fucking go ahead and do it. I did it, and that was the most amount I'd ever put on my bench in my entire life. And I still have the program somewhere here, which I can't bench anymore. But the bottom line was, you could apply that to shoulder presses, pull-ups, like whatever the case may be. It didn't have to just be bench presses. But it was the way it was set up was very intelligent, the way that it was pieced together, because it covered all the bases. You don't just go in the gym and do a bunch of fucking sets because someone said that those sets, that's how you do it, right? Well, how long should I rest? I don't know. Like I kind of rest a minute, 2 minutes. Right? A lot of people don't even rest enough to get the full energy reserves in their fucking set for the next set. They don't even recover between sets. They move so fucking fast that most of them crap out on the next couple of sets. Whereas if you're training to momentary muscular failure or positive failure, you're resting a certain amount of time so that you can get your body's recovered, so that the next set is an all-out explosive boom, go for it again. You do 2, 3, 4, maybe 5 sets max, you're done with that body part for that workout. Now, the body's going to recover, and it's going to grow very quickly compared to if you did that non-training to failure. But what happens is, now, these guys are training, putting their central nervous system in debt more and more, and it's taking longer to recover. So over the course of 10 weeks, when their bodies start recovering over the 10 weeks, and eventually the central nervous system starts to heal, these guys over here that are doing the volume training, their bodies recovered, healed, grew, and went backwards by the time they hit it again. So they're basically like 2 steps forward, 2 steps back, 2 steps forward, 2 steps back, 2 steps forward, 1 step back. It was very, very slow because the frequency wasn't changed, because the scientists didn't know enough to change the frequencies. They were looking at everything being equal, and that's the thing. Not everything is being equal. Training to failure or not are two different fucking animals. It's like a fucking zebra and an elephant, and they're not the fucking same thing. But they're looking at it, trying to compare a zebra and an elephant, saying, that guy's got a really long nose, this guy's got stripes. What the fuck? They're two different things. Everything has to be taken into account that, when you're training a certain way, hormones are happening, a certain way. When you're training a different way, hormones are changing and doing something different. They don't do the same exact things, the same exact amounts, at the same times as if you were not training to failure. So now I'm looking at it going, you guys missed the whole boat on all of this shit, and you put out things say, don't train to failure, it's better. And I'm like, of course. That's why people are out there fucking getting slow gains. That's why people are out there fucking around looking like shit compared to the way we did back in the day. I'm like, that's why. Because they're getting this information led to them or given to them by people that are leading these studies that really don't know what the fuck they're talking about. Like if these people that are running the studies actually sat down with some of the bros or whoever the fuck came out, if they sat down with Mike Menser, Mike would probably talk circles around those fucking guys all day long. They wouldn't know what the fuck he was talking about. And they would think he's completely crazy and a fucking crack addict, which I think he was into drugs at the end. And realistically, he got all those fucking results. You know what I mean? He produced a physique that went toe-to-toe with Arnold, who was not training to failure with high volume, and most people think he beat him in that competition, but at the very least, he went toe-to-toe with him, looking way more fucking dense and thick than Arnold did. And Arnold was the one who was a returning Mr. Olympia at that competition. It was the Olympia. And trained 3 hours a day, did all this shit. Mike Menzer was in the gym 12 minutes every fucking 10 days. And look what he produced. Don't tell me steroids, because Arnold talks very openly about how he used and what he used. Okay? All those guys back then were using the same shit too. They weren't flying all these countries and shit. They had what was available to them in America, and it was fucking legal. So they just went to the doctor, asking for some shit, and they gave it to him. So they were all using the same shit. Mike's was applying science a certain way. Arnold was bro. Right? So you have it flipped, and we have the volume training that's science, and the high intensity stuff is bro. And I'm sitting here going, what the fuck? But we've seen over and over again in the gym actual fucking results But now they're talking about the high volume, and I said, you know what? I don't even care anymore. Like, I don't give a fuck. If you want to go out there and do fucking not train to failure, and fuck around and take 10 years to fucking accomplish what you want to do, knock yourself out. If you want to go out there and say, fuck it, I'm willing to give it everything. I'm willing to push as hard as I can. I'm willing to stick to that shit. I'm willing to make sure my fucking diet is supporting that shit. I'm willing to do the frequency. I'm willing to do the volume. I'm willing to do everything. You're going to get faster fucking results. Period. I don't give a shit what there is. People don't understand that training with not to failure with more volume is still systematically going through those muscle fibers, getting to the point where you get those type 2 fibers, which are the ones that are being hit when you're training to failure to begin with. So it's like you're basically prolonging these workouts, which do affect hormones, and not in a good way. But the problem is the people that were training to failure were detraining. They were so far ahead of the people that were training not to failure that they detrained and went backwards while these people kept inching forward a little bit. Now, if you gain 1/10 of an ounce of a fucking milligram of a fucking flea's ass of muscle more than the training to failure people, it's a success for them. Oh, not training to failure, look, they gain more muscle. And they'll come up with a percent. It'll be like, oh, you gained 14% more muscle. 14% of what? Of a 500-pound guy, of 3 guys, of 50 guys? If you take 15% of 50 guys that got better gains by not training to failure, 15% got better. That doesn't mean that you get 15% better gains. It means 15% of the people got better gains. I'm like, what the fuck is going on? I'm like looking at this shit going, man, you guys call me the dumb one, but you guys are just sitting here like playing fucking slap happy, fucking slapping each other in the face back and forth, giggling about shit that fucking makes no sense. All you have to do is get in the fucking gym, push yourself as hard as you can, get out of the gym, eat, recover, and then fucking as soon as your body's ready to go back in the fucking gym. That's it. Like, I mean, it is more complicated when you're training to failure, because you have to know when to go back to the gym, because you have to know that your body is recovered. And a lot of times they tell you you should wait at least 72 hours. Training to failure, the most you want to wait is 72 hours, because you detrain after that time. Whereas these other people would have you wait a week to train chest again. Training to failure, you can train chest 3 times a week, 4 times a week. I've seen guys do it 5 times a week. Matter of fact, Phil Hernan had his guys doing fucking every body part every day to failure. And those guys were fucking growing. And they were growing. And nobody's going to fucking deny that Phil's guys didn't get results faster than a lot of those motherfuckers out there talking about, do the volume, just do the volume, do your push-pull legs volume. These guys were blowing those guys out of the fucking water. Everybody's still trying to prove push-pull legs with more volume and not training to failure is better. And I'm like, you can say whatever you want on that fucking screen. You can fucking pull up whatever scientist said whatever. But the bottom line is that motherfucker is going to stand on stage next to that motherfucker. And that motherfucker who's been trained to failure, you're going to fuck him up, plain and simple. Even if he doesn't beat him, he's going to look fucking solid as a fucking rock compared to the other guy. And they're going to go, it's all drugs. They're going to blame it on drugs like they always do. Meanwhile, this guy's been busting his fucking ass in the gym 3 times a week as opposed to this dude that does it fucking once per body part. And he's in there fucking nailing his macros while this motherfucker does IFM and does whatever the fuck he wants and fills in pixie sticks in his carbs. And then they gonna fucking blame it on drugs. Bottom line is, guys, there's an efficient and optimal way to do it. And when you're reading these studies, you have to look into it to see how they did the studies, what they were fucking doing, what the differences were, and whether or not they were comparing an apple to a fucking orange or an apple to an apple. In this case, apple to an orange. That's fucked up. BusterTraining@gmail.com. Leave comments down below, but don't fight BusterTraining.com is a blog. It's the fucking bullshit bicep. Training to failure will get there faster, period. And we are out.